Ezzy Cooper.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Almost every elected member of this House woke up this morning to see the announcement of extra cash for the NHS in England to reduce the COVID backlog, but without absolutely any details at all. No details on where the money will come from, no details on what this means for the almost 6 million people still waiting for treatment, and no details on what this means for our exhausted NHS staff. The Minister has reportedly said that this money is new. Well, is it? How do we scrutinise that claim? Well, the Minister set out clearly today, not Wednesday, where that money is coming from. Many hospitals in the government's so-called New Hospitals programme, including those in West Hertfordshire, have been waiting for months for funds to be released so they can start renovation work. So is any of this so-called new money actually part of these existing commitments? Mr. Speaker, there are almost 6 million people stuck at home, in pain, waiting for treatment. Senior medical staff are predicting thousands of early deaths if the government fails to act. People are desperate to know how many more weeks they have to wait for their operations. Can the Minister tell them? Finally, it is all very well announcing money for new diagnostic tests and medical equipment, but there are tens of thousands of vacancies in the NHS. And so without the trained medical staff to use these new facilities, this plan is doomed to fail. Mr. Speaker, without a serious plan to recruit the NHS staff that we desperately need, England could face an epidemic of empty wards, shiny new scanners and super-fast broadband laid to waste because the staff who make our NHS what it is simply aren't there anymore. Thank you.
Minister.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. I'm grateful to the Honourable Lady. She asked a number of points and I'll attempt to answer each of them. She's absolutely right about the waiting list, 5.7 million and growing, and she will have seen the Secretary of State has made clear it could grow if all those who would normally have come forward in the previous year and didn't do come forward to over 13 million. That's exactly why we are taking these steps. And rather than expressing a concern about the announcement, I would have rather thought she'd welcome this investment, this new money, which it is, in helping to tackle those waiting lists, of which, of those 5.7 million, around 1.36 million, I think I may be slightly out, are people waiting for diagnostic tests. That is why this is so crucially important. She asked where the money is coming from. She tempted me there, but I'm afraid she will have to wait for the Chancellor to set out on Wednesday in his budget where the funding, how he is funding each of the announcements that are being made. In respect of staff, Mr. Speaker, and she's absolutely right, she did touch on there, I think, the single most important element of our ability to tackle the pandemic and to respond to the elective waiting list consequences of it. I put on record, as I have done, as far as I know, she would. Our thanks and our gratitude to those staff. In terms of radiologists and radiographers, who are the key people in this space, since 2010 we've increased the clinical radiology workforce by 48%. From 3,239 to 4,797 full-time equivalent posts, and diagnostic radiographers are up by 33% since 2010. Does that mean we need to continue to do more? Of course it does, and the Honourable Lady is right to highlight the need for continued investment in our workforce. She will have seen back last month the announcement of £12 billion of funding, a significant part of which will actually help build that workforce, on top of the commitments that we made at the last election, which we are delivering on.